Hi guys, it's Lisa Murphy and I'm sitting on the porch for Porch Time Story Time today. It is Saturday and a big bird just flew right by the porch screen. That's what I was looking at. This book is called The Tub People and it is written by Pam Conrad and the illustrations are by Richard Igelski. And it is kind of a longer book, meaning longer this way. So I'll probably be holding it like this and you might hear more of my voice than see my face this time, but that's okay. The tub people stood in a line all day on the edge of the bathtub. There were 7 of them, and they always stood in the same order. There was the father, the mama, the grandma, the doctor, the police officer, the little boy, and the dog. They were made of wood, and their faces were very plain. They could smile or frown or cry or laugh. Sometimes they would even wink at each other, but it hardly ever showed. The father of the tub people liked to play sea captain. He would take the mother, the grandma, and the child and would ride on the floating soap. The others stood on the edge of the tub and they waved. Once in a while, the child of the tub people would slide off the soap into the warm bathwater and he'd say, "Help, help, help!" And the daddy would say, "We're coming, we're coming." It says policeman. The policeman and the doctor liked to have water races, bobbing from one end of the tub to the other. The child would cheer, and the grandma would say, "Hush, hush, hush, you're too noisy." When bath time was over, the tub people always lined up along the edge of the bathtub. The father, the mama, the grandma, the doctor, the policeman, the child, and the dog. They always lined up in the same order. But one evening, the bathwater began to rush down the drain before they were lined up. And it pulled all of the tub people this way and that way, and the soap was dancing over to the drain, turning and turning at the top of the whirlpool. Standing on the soap, getting dizzier, was the child of the tub people. "Help, help," he said. But this time, his father, the captain, couldn't save him. And the tub child disappeared down the drain without a sound. The tub mama pressed her face against the grating of the tub. She looked and she looked and she looked for the tub child, but she could not see him. Later that night, the tub people lined up on the edge of the tub, just the 6 of them. The soap was soft, and it was back in the soap dish, and the washcloth made a very lonely dripping, dripping, dripping sound as it hung from the faucet. Drip, drip, drip. The tub people felt very sad. The next night, the 6 tub people climbed onto the washcloth raft, and they called for the tub child. Of course, they knew exactly where he had gone, but somehow it made them feel better by calling out to him. "Honey, where are you? Come home now. Please come back." But he didn't answer. Every evening, the tub people continued to float in the bath water, but in time, they stopped calling for him. They never winked at each other anymore either. Then, something very unusual happened. The bath water began going down the drain slower and slower. Big people came and peered into the tub. "What's the matter with the drain?" they said, and they filled the room with deep voices, and they blocked the light. "What's the matter with the tub drain?" The tub people stood silently and woodenly in their line. If they could have spoken, they would have shouted out what the terrible drain had happened and... Oops, I messed that up. If they could have spoken, they would have shouted out, "What a terrible drain it is! And it sucked away our little tub child!" But they were very quiet. That afternoon, a very big man came and he pried off the drain hole cover and he was grunting as he worked. He shone a light down the drain and then he frowned. Then he pushed a long wire and he jiggled, 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 jiggled like a plunger. Jiggle, 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 up and down and up and down and up and down. And the grandma was whispering, "Come home now, come home now, come home now." And out of the drain popped the little tub child. He was wet and tired, but he was there. The tub people stood in a line and they were quietly watching. One by one, they smiled. The father, the mother, the grandma, the doctor, the policeman, and the dog. And the tub mama had little soapy tears running down her face. But the big man didn't look at them. He tossed the tub child into his toolbox and he shut the lid. Whoosh! The tub people waited for bath time, hoping that the bath child would come back in time for the bath. But bath time never came. It grew later and later, and they waited and they worried. Finally, when they felt they could wait no longer, they were lifted up and carefully carried. Oh, whoops. I don't know what just happened. Uh-oh. Hold on, I don't know what happened. It's like the screen moved away. I don't know. Anyway, let's keep going. When they could wait no longer, they were lifted up and carefully carried into a new room, and they were gently placed on a large, soft bed. It seemed just like the water to them, except it was dry and very firm. And there were now 7 of them all together again. The tub dog knocked his little wooden head against the tub child's head, and quietly they all laughed. Do you see them, how they're touching heads right there? There was a thick quilt on the bed, and when it was all bunched up, they would go mountain climbing. The father liked to be the leader, and he would lead them up one side of the mountain, and then they would tumble down the other side. The grandma liked to hide under the pillows and have everyone come and find her. The tub child liked to fall off the edge and have his father rescue him. And each night, after the lights went out, they climbed up along the windowsill just as they had climbed up along the bathtub edge. The papa, the mama, the grandma, the doctor, the police officer, the child, and the dog all lined up. But each morning when the sun came shining in on them, something would be different. The tub child would be standing between the tub mama and the tub father, their sides barely touching. And if you looked very, very, very closely, you could see that they all had smiles on their small wooden faces. The end. And that's the tub people. I hope you're having a good Saturday afternoon. I will talk to you later.